The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Everett, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32978. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Here are some images of the front of your apparatus is where we're going to begin. Let's start down at the front bumper area, first starting with the mechanical siren, which is notched inside the front bumper. Moving just inside of that location to the frame rail, you'll find 2 closed tow hooks located and attached to the frame rail area. Located directly in the center, you'll find your mechanical siren, PA speaker system, and then moving over to the driver's side, face of the front bumper, you'll find dual air horns. Moving up onto the top near the bumper extension where the siren is located, you'll find an 1.5-inch swivel discharge. Located in the center, you'll find a tubbed storage location for your hose storage. Moving up onto the body, you'll find turn marker indicators located forward facing. And then on the outer edge, you'll find a marker light. Just inside, you'll find your headlight cluster housing low and high beam headlights. The high beam is on the inside. Just up from the headlight structure is where you'll find your emergency warning lights forward facing. And then you also have a grab handle over the driver's side. Located across the windshield area, you'll find 3 windshield wipers across the one-piece seamless windshield. Moving outside to the outer edges, you'll find your mirrors housing a convex and flat mirror. Moving up from that location to the brow, you'll find 5 running lights. Located directly in the center, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. Moving up onto the roof, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located within that light bar in the very center is your Opticom device. Just above the light bar, you'll find independently controlled GO lights. These are your spotlights. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of those images that we just talked about. First, let's start with the tubbed storage location, dry deck material inside, a notched cutout on the officer side for the front discharge. Let's move now to the headlight structure. Turn indicator, headlight, and emergency warning lights. You can see the side-facing marker light. Let's now move to the stepwell area. This is on the driver's side. You'll find your air outlet and air shutoff. Just next to it, you'll find the air inlet. Moving next to it, you'll find your shoreline inlet. This is a 20-amp plug. When you're plugged into shore power, will activate your battery charger. And moving to the right, you'll find the receptacle for your cab tilt. Let's move now just to the rear side of the door where you'll find access here, dry deck material, adjustable shelving capable, and you'll also find a shoreline outlet, once again 20-amp plug within this compartment. You'll also find 12-volt access located at the very top. Let's move now to the midsection of your apparatus. This is going to be where your crosslay is located. As we move through this area, first you'll find the booster location for the storage of the nozzle. Also sufficient grab handles and step and lighting in this area. Let's start now with the items within the pump panel. First starting with your Husky 12 foam system. On the left-hand side you do have instructions and also operating guide. To the left you'll find a warning label here regarding entanglement hazard and associated hazards because of those hoses coming off from above. In the gray area you're going to find your master intake. To the right of that, you'll find your master discharge. Between the two of those, you'll find the vacuum, pressure, test gauge ports, and they are currently plugged. Let's move downward now. We'll identify this black object. This is the audible speaker. We'll talk about that in the next set of images. First, let's start with your pressure throttle governor. If illuminated, it would be yellow. It is a check engine warning light. Moving to the right, you'll find a digital readout for your RPMs. Moving further to the right, if illuminated, it would be in red. This is the stop engine. Moving down, the orange menu button allows you to scroll through the various menu functions of your pressure throttle governor. Located directly in the center, you'll find all of your diagnostic information regarding your engine. And moving to the right in red, you'll find the silence button, which will allow you to silence the audible siren at the upper right-hand corner of the image. Moving down now to the left, you'll find these two buttons, either pressure or RPMs. You have the option of pressure mode or throttle mode. In the information center, moving to the right, you'll find the throttle ready. This is a green indicator indicating it's okay to engage the throttle. Moving down, if you've pre-designated preset pressures, that's where the location will be through this. Moving further down, you'll find your throttle. Increase will be to the right, decrease will be to the left. Push in the center for the idle button. Let's move back up to the very top object here. This is that speaker. On the outer edge of this bezel, it does allow you to dampen the volume sound level. Let's move to the right where you'll find your panel lights. Just down from that, you'll find an indicator engaging your pump as properly engaged. And then just beneath that, you'll find floodlights for driver and officer side, in addition with deck lights. Quick view here of the pump panel. We'll go through some of the items within this area, although not all. First, we'll start with the two modules on the left. First in red, your foam level. To the right in blue is your water tank level. Let's move down from that location where you'll find the round recirculating line. This is a twist, not a pull. We'll move down to next to the red module. This is going to be your Husky 12 foam system. In the upper corner, you'll find the power button when it's been activated. You'll also find a flashing light that's indicating that foam is flowing. Let's review some of the information here. First, powering on the device is the red button. Moving to the right, you'll find a foam prime button. Moving down, you'll find an orange page button. This allows you to scroll through the various foam menus. And then moving to the right, the blue button will be your enter button. The two buttons on the left, which are green color-coded up or down, those will indicate either paging up or down or increasing the foam level, increasing or decreasing. Let's move to the right now where you'll find your minimum operation maintenance schedule. This placard houses that information regarding the test pressures for 150, 200, and 250 psi. On the left, you'll find the associated GPM. On the right, you'll find the RPMs. Also located is the job number in the upper left corner. This is a warning label that serious injury death may occur, that you should have policies and procedures regarding the use of your pump operations. As we move to the right, you'll find a warning label here regarding only trained personnel should operate this equipment only after reviewing the owner's manual and seeking proper training. Just beneath that, you'll find the 2.5-inch female driver's side auxiliary inlet. And to the right, you'll find the Pierce logo, American flag eagle, large diameter pump intake. Let's move down. Just beneath the pump intake is where you'll find your information regarding your Hale pump. That is the placard giving you information regarding the build construction of your pump. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll find a foam failure hazard, that you should not mix different brands, consistencies of foam, and then you'll also find your foam functions for inlet, strainer, and also drains. We'll take a look behind the pan door here. This is going to be your foam operations. The sticker on the left-hand side matches the placement of the yellow handle on the inside of the compartment area. This is for your foam fill and operations instructions. Let's move down to upward, and you'll find two buttons. First in red, the air horn, and then also the reel rewind button. This is for your booster reel in the dunnage area. Looking downward, we're going to take a look. This is a tubbed storage location with two Velcro straps to secure your hose in this area. Now as we look down underneath this area, you'll find the foam pump intake drain and the foam pump discharge drain. Moving now up to the very top of the pump panel area, you'll find access with sufficient grab handles and space for stepping up into the dunnage area. As you're in the dunnage, you'll find your booster hose. On the reel itself is where you'll find the tensioning to allow it for either free spool or tightening down on the free spool application. Also on the top, you'll find a manual location for rewinding the reel. Located on the top, you're also going to find your master stream device. The image now is referring to the hydraulic tank that's located directly behind that location. We'll talk about that in a moment. First, this is your deck gun. This is the control module, which is electronic for it. This is what I was referring to earlier. This is your Husky 12 hydraulic fluid reservoir. There is a sight gauge in the front and a filter on the very top, and also a valve for opening and closing for fill operations on the lower section. As we move just inside the dunnage area, you'll find your top fill location for your water and also foam fill locations. We do have a foam failure hazard warning label located on the foam tank itself. Once again, mixing or different consistencies is not advised. As we now look just to the rear of the hose bed, you'll find these yellow diamonds. They're reflective, indicating the safe area for firefighter operations. As we also look, you'll find your 24-foot extension ladder, and it appears to be a 14-foot roof, in addition with long pike pole storage. Let's now move around to the first compartment outside of the pump area. We're going to find two pull-out style shelves. The release mechanisms are on the right-hand side. You do have dry deck material, also a ventilation system, and LED lighting. As we move further back, you'll find bottle storage location in addition with oxygen bottle storage locations in the front compartment. To the rear, you're going to find bottle storage, your ultra-low sulfur DISA, which is the silver cap, and as we flip that flap to the downward position, you'll find the blue cap, which is your 4.5 US gallon DEF tank. Let's move now to the next compartment. This is directly over the rear wheel. You'll find an adjustable shelf. Also, you'll find LED lighting, and at the very top, you'll find your ventilation system. Moving to the very back, you'll find a pull-out shelf on the bottom. There are two of them, and the adjustments on the right-hand side for releasing that mechanism. As we take a look to the rear of the apparatus, let's first start at the very far bottom. You'll find a reverse, turn, backup, and an emergency light cluster housed all in one. Moving further up, you'll find two emergency lights located just above the grab handles, and then there are three fold-down steps for gaining access to the hose bed area. There are two discharges, both 2.5 inch on this passenger side and also on the driver's side. We will identify a couple other items within this area, although I do have some close-up images that might be more helpful from rather than this distant shot. Directly in the center over the roll-up door is going to be your backup camera. And then as we move to the very top, you'll find your two rear scene lights downward facing. You'll also find two pan door or compartments just above at the very top. We'll identify those compartments in the next few images. First, let's start down at the lower left-hand side of the truck. You'll find your deck lights. This is a cupped switch for turning on and activating those deck lights. Also looking up, you're going to find two locations here for your speed load. And at the very top, you're going to find your attic ladder located on the very far left-hand side, which is a 10-foot folding ladder. As we move to the rear compartment, once again, you'll find a pull-out shelf in the lower section, adjustable just above that. Let's cover a few warning labels here regarding this fall hazard and also a pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when removing them. And to the right, you'll find that same entanglement hazard because of those hoses coming off above. Let's move to the right-hand side. This is going to be your right side rear Blitz foam and water capable 2.5 inch discharge. Quick image of the side of the apparatus. We'll move down the compartments on this side, pretty close to the same configuration and layout with inside these compartments, but let's go ahead and cover those. First, two drawers on the very bottom that are pull-out style shelves. The release mechanism is on the right-hand side and also adjustable shelving in these compartments. At the top of this compartment, you will find a 12-volt access block located at the very top of that compartment. As we move just in front of and rear of the rear wheel, you'll find bottle storage locations. The rear has 3 bottle storage locations with retaining straps. The front has 2 in addition with an oxygen bottle. As we move to the center compartment, you'll find toolboard storage. When the D handle is released, the hinge will lock in an open position, reach inside and release the lock mechanism. We're now to the mid section of your apparatus where you'll find the reel rewind and also the officer side floodlight. There is an access panel door which we'll cover in a few moments. There are 2 electric valves on this side of the vehicle, one controlling the officer side 2.5 and also your large diameter. Moving now to the modules, this is your powered equipment rack. There are some instructions on it. And then moving to the forward position, you'll find your cab lift, also instructions on it. And once again, further to the right, we'll find a warning label here regarding fall hazard. As we move down, we'll find an additional warning label here regarding pressurized hazard. Because of those caps that may be under pressure, be cautious when removing them. We'll move down to the next access panel, which is going to be down in the lower left-hand corner of the pump panel. We'll talk about that in the next set of images. And we'll look at the Pierce American Flag Eagle. This is your large diameter pump intake. Moving to the right, you'll find your female 2.5 inch auxiliary inlet. This is on the passenger side. And then you'll find all your associated color-coded and labeled drains. Here's some close-ups of those 2 switches that we just talked about. Reel rewind and officer side floodlight. This is the access door at the very top. This is your equipment rack reservoir. As we move through, this is the powered equipment rack. You can see the instructions on raise and lower. And then as we move to the right, you'll find the cab lift instructions for raise and lower also.
Let's move downward. We'll take a look. We do have a tubbed storage location, dry deck material inside, and also Velcro for securing the hose. On the very far right hand side, you're going to find all your associated color-coded discharges, drains. You'll also find the auxiliary side 2.5-inch inlet. And as we move down to the lower left side, this is going to be your water strainer drain. It's a twist, not a pull. As we move inside the lower left-hand corner, this is going to be the access panel to get to your relief valve. The outer nut is the relief valve setting. As we move now to the cab area, you'll find once again 12-volt access and also 110 access, a 20-amp plug, and also that 12-volt power block. As we move inside the cab, we're in the rear section. You'll find access point. This is going to be location where you'll do your daily checks for oil and also transmission. As we look through the cab area, I would like to point out at the very top you do have push on and off white and red lights. The lens is what actually activates that light. As we move through some of the images here, I won't speak to all of them, but in the very back, on the back wall, you'll find your David Clark headset system. Moving to the center compartment here on the very back wall, you're going to find a compartment light width inside and also adjustable shelving within that area. Looking from the back toward the front of the cab, we'll identify some of the items here. At all points of entry, you're going to find these warning labels affixed to all of the door panels. In addition, your vehicle is equipped with an airbag. That is the warning label regarding not mounting or supplying any equipment within that area. Here is a close-up here of the door panel regarding those warning labels. Let's now move to the officer's side of the cab where you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. And at the floor level is where you'll also find a foot pedal. I would like to point out once again, SRS stands for Supplemental Restraint System. That is your airbag. This is your mechanical siren foot pedal on the lower left-hand side of the floorboard area. As we move to the seat itself, underneath the pedestal is where you'll find also a additional storing location. You also have an auxiliary parking brake, which does have a protected U on it. As we move to the left of the dash, you'll find 12-volt access via USB and also barrel style. And you'll also find your unit push-to-talk radio. As we move overhead, just a quick view. This is from the officer seat. Let's start on the very far right-hand side, and we'll start moving from right to left. This is a siren brake, perimeter lights, the officer flood, deck lights, front flood, and driver's side flood. All of these switches will illuminate in the color when they have been activated. Let's move just to the left of this location or switch box is where you're going to find your unit radio. And then moving further to the left, we'll find your PA system and also siren. Let's go ahead and look overhead. Directly in the center, you'll find this light. This is a do not move your apparatus. It will pulsate when you have a compartment open, a door open, or any other things that are currently tied to that do not move your apparatus, including your ladder rack. Overhead, push on and off white and red lights, and also a pull horn for your air horns. We're now to the driver's area. We have a set of warning labels here, once again affixed to the panel. As we move inside next to the brake treadle, you'll find your mechanical siren foot pedal. As we move just to the notch area where the seat is located, directly under the seat, you'll find your auto charge system. When plugged into shore power, this will activate. Also at about the right ankle, you'll find your manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing for the city of Everett. This placard has the job number, which is that 5-digit job number, cold tire inflation, gross vehicle weight ratings, VIN number. It also has all of your fluid capacities for components and fluid types. Let's now move about the left knee for your master battery switch. It is the red switch. It's a quarter turn to the right. And as we move down, you'll find your tech module, engine and ABS and transmission ABS diagnostic ports. Just beneath that, you'll find all the switches associated for those diagnostic ports. In addition, you do have a siren disconnect. Moving to the right, you're going to find your pump shift from road to pump and from pump to road. When exiting the cab, you'll need 2 green indicators for proper pump operations. Let's move now just to the other side of the column, where you're going to find your main mirror and your convex mirror. These are your mirror controls. Let's jump back up from this location to your on-off switch for engaging your high idle with an OK to engage the high idle green indicator. On the left-hand side of the dash, you're going to find the start ignition switch. Just inside of that location, you'll find this small switch called EM. This stands for Emergency Master. It activates all of your emergency lights. Just to the right of that switch, you'll find your parking and headlights, and also a panel rocker switch, which allows you to brighten or dim your panel lights. Located directly in the center, supplemental restraint system and airbag. As we now look at the dash itself, we'll start on the left with the transmission oil DEF level and water temperature. Located on the right-hand side is your volts, fuel, front and rear air. Speedometer and tachometer located directly in the center. Above and below, you'll find additional diagnostic information that may display. Let's go ahead and move now to the center dash area where you'll find your command zone located at the very top. A little difficult to see in this image, but a tremendous amount of information right at your fingertips. See your owner's manual for more information. Just beneath that, you'll find the engine brake switch. You'll also have a setting switch for low, medium, and high. There are two future switches, front wheel lock and mirror heat. Down in the lower section, you're going to find the pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. And to the right of it, you'll find your Allison transmission pad, including a note here to pump in drive. We also have some informational caution information just to the right for the operator. Located at the very top, you'll find your push to apply your windshield wiper fluid. Turn right to left for on and off for fluid speeds. In the center, you're going to find your climate control for heat and defrost and air conditioning. To the right of that, on the operator's side, you're going to find your push to talk for your radio and also your go light control. Looking quickly overhead, we'll identify first on the left-hand side this placard regarding your height 10 feet 5 inches, the length 30 feet 9.75 inches, gross vehicle weight rating of 40,000 pounds. There's also a job number down at the lower left-hand side. If you make any changes to your apparatus, please update this placard. Let's move just to the right of that where we're going to find a set of switches. This is going to be your emergency master, which controls all emergency lights. In addition, with the lower warning only, your Opticom switch, which is located in the center of the light bar, an air horn switch, load manager, and then also a siren brake, which has the red outline for easily identifiable. As we move to the right, we're going to find scene lights. These are going to be your driver's side flood, front flood, deck lights, officer flood, and side scene lower, and also perimeter lights. Moving just to the right of this set of switches is where you're going to find your Wheelan traffic advisor. And then as we move to the very rear, just a quick look from the front looking to the back, you'll find your flip down seat on the driver's side, center compartment, and then also a seat. Located directly in the center of the cab, you're going to find push on and off red and white lights. Congratulations, Everett, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32978. If you have any questions as to the content of this video or any future questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Congratulations.